I was talking about how Trump is calling the separation of children from their parents and the imprisonment of their parents when they come across the border seeking asylum zero tolerance. Zero tolerance, a phrase that, you know, for the authoritarian mind sounds great, right? Yeah, we don't want to tolerate any, you know. But the reality is that virtually all of our laws have a spectrum of punishments available. The jaywalking law, for example, you know, you can go to jail for 12 months in the state of Georgia for jaywalking. Go to prison. But typically, you get a $50 fine. Typically, what we did is we fined people for crossing the border and or deported them. But we didn't separate them from their children, and we didn't imprison them for long periods of time. This is not zero tolerance. This is enforcing a law in a way that is so extreme. You know, misdemeanor laws typically involve a little jail time because sometimes somebody breaks a misdemeanor law with such malice. You know, this would be aggravated jaywalking, right? With such malice. They're doing it for such terrible reasons. And the only thing you can bust them for is jaywalking. So you do that and you send them to jail for a year. But these people are not doing this out of malice, and they're not doing this to try to harm our country. Elisa in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hey, Elisa, what's on your mind?
Hey, Tom, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Trump's newest attack on due process, I think it's predictable and by design. And I think I've been connecting some dots. They passed a lot of legislation kind of below the radar. And I think that what we're seeing with the migrants is actually just a test of propaganda and process. Because early in 2017, one of the very first things they did was imbue the CDC with the power to detain anyone in the country indefinitely under suspicion of illness while deciding whether or not to quarantine them, which is huge. And many people have voiced concern about the violation of due process.
Yeah, this was citing the Ebola crisis, right?
Yeah, but now they're saying you don't have to have traveled out of the country. You don't have to have been anywhere.
Well, that's what Chris Christie did with that nurse. Remember?
Right. So now think about that. Think about the fact that last week, that was in 2017. Last week, the federal government ordered hospitals in the United States to stop publicly reporting infectious illnesses like the MRSA virus. And there are a lot of people voicing concern about that. Why would they do that? At the same time, they're constructing massive internment camps on military bases, claiming that they are for migrants, but net migration is way down. We don't have that many.
Alicia, your phone is starting to fall apart. Try it again.
Speakerphone for me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, one moment. I'm so sorry.
That's quite all right. Can
you hear me now?
Yeah, it's just fine. You're fine, Elisa.
Okay, so they're injecting kids with drugs forcibly now in these internment camps for children. Think about this. They also have state-run media now. Everything in place, and this sounds alarmist. I used to be a reporter for the Boston Globe, the LA Times. I'm not a crazy conspiracy theorist. I'm just connecting dots and looking at what's going on. Right. It would be very easy for them right now to say on Sinclair and Fox and Fox News and right-wing talk radio that there is some terrible disease running through minority neighborhoods, gay neighborhoods. They're already quite consciously referring to us as disease-ridden every chance they get, infestation, all these kinds of words. And then my belief is Stephen Miller and friends have thought of a way to dispose of us while not looking. It's not going to be as obvious as putting us into showers and ovens and things like that. It's going to be, these people are sick. We can now detain them indefinitely under suspicion of illness for the good of the public health. We can quarantine you forever. We will give you medications to help with this crazy new disease that's coming out. This is what I think is coming down the pipe. And then they can claim that the medication is not working. And there's no longer any mechanism in place for hospitals to even be reporting on whether these diseases are real or at the rate at which they're happening.
Wow.
So
that's a pretty elaborate conspiracy theory, Elisa. And under any other administration, I would I just consider it a joke what you're saying, but
Right.
I can't consider this a joke. Here we have Donald Trump tweeted out yesterday. He's basically calling for violence against Maxine Waters. He says, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, an extraordinarily low IQ person. By the way, have you noticed she's black? He didn't say that, but I think that that's the subtext here. An extraordinarily low IQ person has become, together with Nancy Pelosi, another woman, the face of the, quote, Democrat Party. Well, there's no such thing as a Democrat Party. It's a Democratic Party, and has been named that since, 1820 or something like that. She just called for harm to supporters, of which there are many, of the Make America Great movement. Be careful what you wish for, Max. Be careful what you wish for. I mean, this is how Benito Mussolini used to talk. Alyssa?
Yeah. I didn't know you still had me online.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's even that they think of us as second-class humans, as an earlier caller said. I think they don't think of us as human at all.
Yeah.
And I can actually feel it. I was in a Target the other day in Albuquerque, and I'm starting to feel this just kind of visceral change in the way that people look at each other, in the way that brown people move in public spaces now. And it's not just migrants who are bearing the brunt of these abuses. It's all of us and the ways that other people look at us, and it's terrifying.
Are you a person of color, Elisa, if you don't mind my asking?
Yeah, I'm Latina.
Uh-huh. And you've noticed a change in the last 18 months in the way that just, average white people walking around in public interact with you?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and I've been seeing it from the time of Lou Dobbs. I've been writing about it, saying, when they started using this language 20 years ago, I think it was quite intentional. After the deregulation of the media in 1993, we saw this Fox News kind of. I think they've been planning this for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I think all of us are kind of blindsided who haven't been paying attention, but I think we are going to be shocked by the speed with which they do this. And we don't have time. I don't think it's even a matter of let's shout them down in restaurants. Let's vote. I don't think an administration this sociopathic and wealthy and powerful will allow us to have free elections, honestly. Why would they?
Well,
Why would they relinquish power?
The Supreme Court just let stand the partisan gerrymandering of North Carolina and Texas. They just said that's just fine. If the Republicans control now, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I guess that means the Democrats can partisan gerrymander too, but when they control states. But it's just wrong in my opinion. Elisa, I want to get some more thoughts, some more callers in here. But thank you very much for your contribution and your thoughts. Mark in Valley, Washington. Hey, Mark, what's up?
Hi, how you doing? I want to go back to that nice lady that called a little while back saying that we should take the higher road.
Yeah.
That only works if both sides play by the same rules, okay? And the Republicans play by no rules. I am so tired of the Democrats going to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we consistently lose. These people don't care what they do to win.
Well, yeah, and you've got the hard right guys like Richard Spencer and whatnot holding press conferences. You've got the Charlottesville, Virginia march, which Donald Trump said, some very fine persons, very fine people. Good point, Mark. Thanks for the call. Charles in Opelika, Florida. Hey, Charles.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Good.
I couldn't agree with Nancy. I'm sorry. Maxine Waters any more than what she's saying, because to be honest with you, we're under assault, and it's been a pushback. I wouldn't even say this started with Donald Trump. I would say this started with Mitch McConnell. And he's been there, and we need to get rid of him because of the divisive nature that he brings.
Well, he stole the Supreme Court. I mean, this was a 5-4 decision. Another 5-4 decision that would have gone the other way probably if Merrick Garland had been on the court. It's amazing.
Right, and also just even the pushback on Obamacare when we really didn't even need any, but all of that disinformation that he's been, promoting. That's why we're in a position like this. And we have to stand up now. We have to be counted because there are other people out there just waiting for this opportunity. All the time, every time I listen to Fox, I'm hearing some mantra that we're sick, we're tired, we're fed up, and we can't take it anymore. And those aren't everyday, hardworking Americans. This is the corporate class. This is the white-collar class. These aren't the people that's suffering out here. These aren't the people that's getting, their medical insurance raised. These aren't the people that's working 2 and 3 jobs that can't get a full hourly wage because their employers are stopping them from getting, medical care and other benefits. And so, it's time that we stood up and we start letting these people know, hey, we don't want you. I mean, we want to tolerate what this administration is trying to do. So I applaud those people that was out there protesting Nielsen. I applaud anybody that's going to protest these other cabinet members, and somebody pull out your cameras and videotape it so that way if there's any instigators, we'll know that it wasn't somebody from our side.
Oh, I can guarantee you there's going to be instigators. There's,
that's why we have cell phone cameras, right?
Yeah.
We have cell phone cameras, and now we can record what's actually going on. And, this is a movement, and we can't stop it because, how long do we, like yesterday, I stood outside of a dollar store, and I saw so many people going, how many people, that can't go to these regular stores anymore because they don't have enough money.
Yep. You're right, Charles. 35 years of Reaganomics has just devastated the American middle class of all races. Charles, thanks for the call.